middleweight contender in the world, Edmen the Golden Boy Shahbazyan.
Greetings. I was watching the UFC last night, and I wanted to share a very brief thought I had while watching the lead-in to the main event. One of the fighters in the last bout of the night had the surname Shahbazyan, which is actually an Armenian name. Now, those familiar with the UFC might remember another fighter with an Armenian surname who used to compete in the UFC, a talented judoka named Karo Parisyan. And Parisyan himself had a cousin who also fought in the UFC named Manny Gamburyan. And separate from the world of mixed martial arts, perhaps the most well-known Armenian surname in America is Kardashian, which was the name of a very successful lawyer whose daughters have apparently achieved incredible success in reality television. Now, you may notice something similar in all of these Armenian surnames, Shahbazyan, Parisyan, Gamburyan, Kardashian, and that is that they all have at the end of the name the Armenian suffix yan. That suffix signifies descent. If a person is surnamed Kardashian, it signifies that they descend from someone named Kardash. So in short, what precedes that yan suffix is usually the name of an ancestor. So with that in mind, let's get back to this fighter named Shahbazyan. It means he descended from someone named Shabazz. That name, Shabazz, is actually itself a Farsi or Persian word meaning royal falcon. Now, at this point, you might be thinking of a number of Americans who had a similar name, Shabazz, like Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X, whose own name late in life was El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. Now, some people think that that was actually his quote-unquote Sunni name, but he actually got the name Shabazz from the NOI, from the Nation of Islam, which claimed that the African diaspora in the Americas was from a tribe called Shabazz.
We are a nation, the tribe of Shabazz, lost in this wilderness called North America.
But of course, that now begs the question, where did the NOI get that name from? Although some try to retroactively give it an Arabic origin, I honestly think it's fairly obvious that it's from that aforementioned Persian term, Shabazz, royal falcon. And now, at this point, you might be wondering, if that's the case, how did the NOI wind up acquiring a Persian name? In that case, with that in mind, it's worth noting that the draft registration card attributed to the founder of the NOI, Fard Muhammad, it turns out there's a draft card for someone with a similar name, Wallace Dodd Ford, or Wallace Dodd Fard, and the same birthday, 26th of February, though not necessarily the same birth year. And that card lists Fard as coming from Afghanistan, from specifically the Shinkai region, which is actually dominated by Persian-speaking Pashtuns. Mind you, I'm not saying that Fard was necessarily a Pashtun, but it seems quite plausible that the founder of the NOI came from a place in Afghanistan where a Persian dialect was dominant. Now, another question one might ask at this point is, if all that's true, are there any other possible Persian terms with the NOI? And I can think of another example.
Allahu Akbar!
Today, many in the NOI seem to think that the name Farrakhan is related to the Arabic term Furqan, which is the name of the 25th chapter of the Quran. It's also right there in the first verse of that 25th chapter. However, I think the spelling is more indicative of the Persian Farukhan, which, interestingly enough, was the name of the third-to-last Zoroastrian ruler of Tabaristan before the Muslim conquest of that land. And that's it. That's all I wanted to share in this brief video. You know, I actually want to be clear that I did not intend this video as any sort of a polemic against the NOI. Rather, I just have an interest in the linguistic side of things, and so I wanted to share my ever-so-brief thoughts on this subject, which came to mind while watching last night's UFC. So, you know, Shabazz, Farukhan, that's it. I'll close here. As always, I look forward to the comments of others. God bless.